Welcome to a new series that explores the experience and knowledge of women and entrepreneurs in business in the outdoor adventure and cycling industry. And joining me here today, I have Chloe Taylor and Bex Barahona from Gowaan, which I've hopefully said correctly. We had a bit of a discussion about that because I feel like you have to say it with a certain emphasis. Can you give me like a demonstration of the correct way?
Go on,
Go
you're
on.
like woo.
Okay, cool. Right. I'll get there. Can you tell us, for people who aren't aware of what you do, what Gowaan is? Because I think a lot of people, especially in this area, will be aware of you from mountain bike racing. What's the business of Gowaan?
A bit of everything.
Where do we start? You want to?
I don't know where to start, to be honest. We have fingers in a lot of pies, as they say. I guess the core value of Gowaan is about just spreading, I don't know, fun on bikes.
Silliness and fun.
Yeah, just being silly, having a good time on bikes and not being afraid what you look like. I think that's the essence of it.
Yeah, that's the main.
How do people experience that? What's the business side of that then?
We've actually started working with kids a lot more in the last year, so it's kind of easy to have fun, be silly. They make it even easier, but that's been pretty new. But yeah, I suppose it all started from just something that we came into mountain biking with. It was the brand actually started with myself and a friend. We were just really comfortable with each other, and we'd just be silly. We'd try loads of things in front of each other, which we'd never do if we were, I don't know, in the pits of a World Cup or something like that. Because I know, trying to wheelie or do something silly on a bike, in case we looked a bit silly. And then we got really comfortable with each other. We'd try loads of things. We'd film it and then put it on Instagram. Nice. So even though we didn't want to do it in front of people, we put it on on Instagram, and it went, showed it to the world, and it kind of just got some traction. People received it really well, and they loved it, and I suppose it was quite real and stuff. And so the core brand started from just something me and a pal had between us, and it's something I've carried through all my riding, racing, and just life in general. And then now we're sort of running Gowaan as a brand and as a business.
So one of the things you run, I know, is that you have kids sessions, for example. So kids do skills and activities, that kind of thing. What other kind of things have you kind of got going on?
I guess we have the merch side of stuff, but that's not obviously not to make money, but that's just to try and spread the brand and make it seen further, which is cool. And then obviously we've had the festivals, the women's mountain bike festivals. We've had three
of them.
3 so far, which that's just been about creating a space for women to just get amongst it, try new things, meet new pals and stuff like that.
We've started our own race team, which is predominantly for Chloe and I, because we both race at a high level. And I 18 months ago I was dropped from a professional team sort of in my prime. So we didn't really want to stop racing. And now that's, I don't know, we still want to keep racing ourselves, but after working with the kids, we're so motivated to even just set it up for them. But this team is definitely not going to just be for me and Chloe in the future, for sure. So it's quite cool to build it while we're the riders, and then we'll see where it goes.
At the moment, obviously we predominantly race enduro. But like Bex just said, to see some of the kids that are currently in our kids club that are 5, 6, if they get to the point where they want to race, and if we can support them doing that, that'd be so sick. That's I suppose that's the long-term goal for the race team. That would be really cool.
So I love that sort of the whole ethos is really at the heart of it, and then it's manifested in different ways, sort of a team that allows you to sort of both race and supports your racing career, and running a team is a complicated business, which we'll get into in a moment. But then also kind of spread that further, take that feeling that you have and sort of share it amongst inspiring the next generation, or getting more women out on bikes and having fun. Because there is a lot of, you'll obviously experience this as professional athletes. That's not something I've ever had to deal with. But there is this sort of pressure sometimes when you go cycling to be a certain way or be able to do a certain thing. And sometimes it can be hard to remember that it's kind of supposed to be fun.
Yeah, definitely. I think just on that point, when I was on professional teams, that just didn't suit me. And I think if I knew what I knew now, when I was first signing for professional teams, it would have always been the best option for me to create my own team, because that was the kind of environment I wanted to be in.
Yeah.
You can be silly and have fun as a professional, but you are paid to be a certain kind of way, and you can say certain things on interviews. Whereas when it's our own team, we can be 100% ourselves, and it doesn't take away from, like, sometimes I suppose in the past I've not been taken seriously and stuff because I'm messing about or whatever, but I'm still taking my racing seriously.
Yeah.
And I think if people are paying you to race your bike, they don't want that side. So it's been quite nice to just be like, I don't need to put any front on from that side of things.
It's interesting that though, because talking to more people, there's more sort of research with people who maybe like mountain biking but maybe aren't super into following the racing religiously. But what engages them is seeing people having fun on their bikes. So actually, you'd have thought, like, in terms of broadening the appeal of racers, it's having people who are engaging and look like they're having fun on a bike as someone that you might want to follow.
Definitely. Like,
I guess that's another reason we just recently started YouTube.
Yeah.
Last year when we created our own team, we were like, I mean, at first we were a bit reluctant. We've always like
holding a camera like this is weird.
Yeah, like always sort of, I don't know, not understood it and been like, what's this YouTube? Like, why are people doing that?
Yeah.
And then we were like, let's like, one, it's like a lot of brands see value in documenting obviously what we're up to, and two, we were like, actually this is good, even just for us, like if we sit down one day when we're old ladies in armchairs and watch back these videos of like these sick experiences we've had and what insane trips we've done, like even if we can look back on them, I think that's so cool. And then obviously with the kids, like some of them like watch the videos and stuff and actually understand like what we do when we disappear for the summer. So like that element as well. I guess just being ourselves as well, like through the vlogs, like it is just like what happens at a race. It's not polished. It's, you know, what we get up to, which is sometimes we've had a crap race and sometimes it's gone really well. Like, I don't know, I think that's a good way to get across like us as people and what we want to, I don't know, show the world, I guess.
I think it's really nice having a very raw, it feels raw, sort of look behind the scenes of what happens at races, because you know, polished highlights are lovely and I enjoy watching them, but I kind of also want to know, well, what's it really like? I guess it's been a privilege kind of getting to know like what it's actually like at a race and the emotions of it and the technical elements of it.
Well, I guess what we realised once starting the vlogs and stuff, people are just nosy. They just want to know, like,
why do you think I podcast?
What have you had for dinner? Like, what have you had for breakfast? Like, that is what people love to see, and even like you say, the behind the scenes.
Even your sister texts saying, on the next vlog, can you
put more food in?
Like, we want to know what you have for breakfast on race morning. And it's like her sister's asked
Apparently that's what people want to see. So yeah, I think, like you say, the behind the scenes stuff is what people want to see, and especially with enduro, like, obviously it's hard to document, and there's so many stories that come out of a race, and people that aren't at the race don't know them stories. So I think us showing that through our videos is cool.
We enjoy it.
So looking then at focusing on the sort of running a team element of what Gowaan's all about, what, for people who aren't aware of what's involved with that, can you give us a rundown of like what that entails? Because I can imagine there's, you know, logistics, there's obviously, you know, capturing footage. Like, what do you have to do?
Oh, so much.
Too much.
Like, basically, like, you have like a plate on this finger, then a plate on this one, then a plate on this one, this one, and you're just like this, trying to spin all the plates all at once.
Yeah, gone.
But it's obviously there's like, you have to train because we're the racers as well.
Yeah.
You have to be the manager, which I was like, oh, what do you mean just managing ourselves? But there is like, you have like relations with brands that you got to organise, like even just like recently, normally we'd like sign contracts or renew contracts from anywhere from like October to December. You go into the new year, you're pretty wrapped up. Like it's end of Feb and we're still not like re-signed with people that we stay signed with. Like, it's all very delayed this year, which then is like getting in the way of like training a little bit, because now you sort of want to be focused on your training, but then you know, at races are the obvious things. Like, I've been on a professional team where there's a chef, there's a masseuse, there's like everything you could ever need, and all my job was to do was to race. But like, we're doing all them jobs now, I suppose. Like, maybe not all of them to the level if you had all that like staff support. Like, for instance, we'll do self-care rather than a massage, which is different
If we
works
get
if we
time
get time. Yeah.
If
No,
not changing time.
if one of usually like
10 o'clock at
normally
night.
dinner's the most important thing. We're definitely not running the team like as a slick operation right now, and I think the best thing about that though is that we know where we want it to go, and like if we just had all the money we needed for the team to get it where we wanted straight away, like what are we doing it for? Like the whole point is like we're building and we're striving and it's fun. Like we're enjoying the journey. Like it's not like, I think if we just got a mad investment and we were just there, we could hire a chef and it would just it wouldn't be the same.
Yeah.
The first year would be sick because we'd be like, wow, we've got our own professional team. But then I think it would just become a little bit too like every other team, really.
Yeah.
So it's quite cool to grow it from the ground up.
And so then is that something that you want to do? Like you've mentioned that you want to build a team. So doing it this way, are you getting ideas of like, well, this is what our team would do or feel like or look like or have?
Definitely. I think we don't lack ideas. That is actually a little bit of a problem. We were just saying today, actually, I think we need someone in the business that kind of brings us back down to like what's achievable in a normal working week. But we definitely got like, I mean, I'm quite different to I think a lot of World Cup racers in a sense of like what I need to perform.
Right.
But I think that could be quite a positive impact for, because I'm probably not the only one that like is a bit different. Like a lot of people do need a bit more of a serious environment or certain things in place. But for me, that is not what I really wanted around me. I learned that a little bit late in my career, and I think it'd be really cool to like. I think that's actually just given me like the. It's given me the ability to like actually look at the athlete and what they need, and I think it'd be really, really rewarding to like be able to run a team and a platform where when you sign new athletes, you're actually taking into consideration them rather than, oh, we've got this structure, you need to fit into it.
Yeah.
I know it's probably more of a job, but I think like if teams aren't doing that, then it'd be really interesting to, because who knows, like maybe if I'd have got, don't get me wrong, the platforms I've performed on, like it has been amazing and really the experience has been so good and like they did a lot for me to do what I did, but there's definitely parts which I've learned that could have been different, not necessarily better, just different. And I feel like that would be really rewarding to try and make an athlete's like journey like tailored.
Yeah.
But
it's the thing, like, you know, every athlete, funnily enough, everyone's an individual. And like they have, like some people work really well in very focused structures. Other people need different types of sort of environments that they work in. I don't work well in a very formal structure at all. But then, you know, sort of like yourselves, I have so many ideas that I kind of do need a degree of structure. Otherwise I'll just go off on some kind of tangent. How has your experience been similar to that?
The opposite to me.
Yeah.
Which is good.
We are pretty opposite, but I've never been in a position to be on a professional team. So I guess if we continue with our team, we'll make our own. But so I've already always ran my own programme. So we kind of, when Bex was like, let's set up a team, I was like, it's harder than you think.
Well, you were just like, why don't you set a team up and I'll take your spot.
So it's been slightly different for me, but I sort of grew up from BMX racing where that was very structured. So they obviously had a pathway through because that's an Olympic sport. So through British Cycling, it was you get on the British Cycling team. You live in Manchester. You work. You live there. You train there with the team. So I always saw that growing up as a kid. So I guess that's sort of the platform that I sort of saw myself going on to. So I have always wondered whether I'd perform better on a professional team, but then from Bex's experience, like for some people, maybe it's not all it's cracked up to be. And how we're racing now is mint, like going away racing in the van with taking Lando, our dog, like you can't really get better than that, right?
Yeah, we're pretty fortunate to like do it together as well. It's pretty cool to, even though we operate so differently, like we're together, we're partners, so it's like, I don't know, this whole brand and everything, doing it all together is pretty cool.
And like you say, just like maybe seeing where it can grow into is exciting.
Yeah. And form that path and see what you can turn it into. You know, we can't talk about business without talking about the financial side of things. What is that like at the moment from the team perspective? We'll talk about the sort of the work you're doing with kids afterwards. But I mean, everyone talks about like so the bike industry's going through a bit of a tough time at the moment. That's been happening for a while now, and I keep hearing that.
I do too.
How has that affected sort of your experiences and sort of obviously changes in racing generally as well? How has that affected your experiences in terms of getting investment or funding or sponsorship for the race team? And, do you see that changing at any point, or, is it just bike brands, or, are there opportunities outside of cycling?
Well, I hope it changes, and I hope it changes soon. But, I mean, we tried to set up this team in possibly the worst year that you could ever try to set up a team. Obviously, off the back of COVID, a lot of brands are struggling compared to what they were through COVID. So we definitely didn't start it at the right time, but, when's the right time to start something like that? So it's definitely been hard to sort of find financial support to do what we do, but
I think
there's a few core brands that have got behind it and really like helped us through sort of a tough time, a tough period, which has been cool. But yeah, it's still even coming into this year, 2025. It's going to be another difficult year.
This year, last year was pretty tough, and like for me personally, it was like a transitional year of like, oh, how do you run your own program again? And so it felt like, oh my gosh, this is going to be overwhelming, way too much. But right now, it's like, I'm actually glad it's been hard to get like support in a way. I know that sounds ridiculous because the amount of times we've had emails after emails of rejection, and you're just like, I actually can't take another rejection because it does like we're still. I think it's changing now, but it felt very personal like last year. But this year it doesn't feel as personal, and I think we're getting a little bit savvier with like how to separate business and that and personal. But I think it's been a good thing for us that it's been a bit slower because it's. Like I said, if we'd have just got all the investment we needed, it wouldn't have grown organically and exactly how we want it to grow. Yeah. And as soon as you've got an investor or a sponsor, whatever you want to call them, like they've got a reason they want to be there, and the reason is they're going to get a marketing out of you, or they're going to get something out of you. Yeah. And actually, I think even if it's 1, 2, 3 years where we're struggling, we're not, because we're living the lifestyle we want to live. And at the moment, our business is small, and we have to stop now and again when it feels hectic and be like, we live an amazing life. We're so fortunate. But business-wise, like if we were like the entrepreneur that's like wanting to just like go up in money, we're not winning. But in terms of like living the lifestyle and success of the business, in terms of like, we're at the races when we're struggling really hard, like to even just get there and be like in training shape for it because we can't dedicate enough time or whatever. And we're going out on kids club rides all the time, and it's so rewarding, and the club is just growing so quickly, and like so the success. I think it's obvious our company is not to be like financially, like we're not planning on buying a mansion and like just sacking off the company. So it is really rewarding how we're doing it, and I think like I said, that breathing space of it actually being a slow couple of years is probably a good thing for us. I think in the long run, but and also it's forced a lot of one thing it has forced is a lot of creativity because. Because we haven't been having to think outside of the box how to get money into the brand and from sponsorship side of things, it's made us like really think about like who do we want involved in this program? Yeah. Because we're not, especially after my experience on a more professional platform where I was an employee, it's made me realise that we only want to brand like work with brands that are actually on board with what we're doing. We don't want it to be a quick like we'll get a few Instagram posts out of them and then we'll sack them off. Like that's not longevity. It's not business that we want to do. So. It's definitely, even though it's been slow, it helped us, I think, the business and company grow how we want it to grow, which is nice.
In terms of the sponsorship and funding then, because one of the things you mentioned is like sort of not taking things personally, and the bike industry is relatively small, and so everyone kind of does know everyone. How do you manage sort of making formal approaches to businesses or organisations or individuals? Like what do you need to pitch to them to try and sell what you do, and then sort of manage that kind of rejection?
We don't like what you do, so we're not going to support it.
Well, one thing I was going to say, going back to the last question a little bit, was obviously we've been struggling to like get support and sponsors and stuff, but then the sponsors that are on board, like Beck said, that like they're on board with everything we're doing. So like we kind of are trying to not sell it, but like portray it as if a brand gets involved with what we're doing, it's to do with everything. So it's the race team, it's the brand.
So they can't just be like, oh, we want the race winners.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you're getting involved with our kids club and everything.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's important to us, and well, hopefully as well, like we hope as it grows, like more brands will come to us because they'll see that what we're doing is actually something pretty unique.
Yeah.
And like, not to sound big-headed, but we think it's quite cool.
Yeah.
And like
Valuable
important and valuable because we've got so many strings to this bow.
Yeah.
Especially like, you know, with these kids, like they're growing up and, you know, maybe a bike that we're on is actually like, Bex and Chloe have that bike, I want that bike.
Yeah.
Or like, they've got a gyro helmet, I want a gyro helmet. So I think that is pretty cool to just be so influential to the younger generation.
And I suppose their families as well, because
Yeah.
it's not just the kids that are encountering you, it's like the mums, the sisters, the brothers, the siblings, the aunts, the uncles.
Yeah, because a lot of like the parents, like they're not into biking, but because they're obviously kids, they try everything. So as well, like we get so many parents like, oh, they need a new helmet. What helmet do I buy? Like, because they're not bikers themselves.
Yeah.
So
The way that the kids side of stuff has grown, it's been like super organic, and it's grown a lot quicker than the race team side of things. And I think the kids just really enjoy the brand being silly, having fun, because that's, I mean, we get to be our proper true selves with them, because like they're kids and we're pretty much kids inside. Like, but in terms of financial and like being more creative, I was just thinking about like this year we like applied for our first ever grant like from the council, and that's something we've never even considered. And I think it's something like, it's a way of like we're being able to do our job, I suppose, which is like coaching kids and stuff.
So the grants for the kids.
Yeah, so this isn't through the race team. Yeah, no, we're not just pocketing it and going. But then essentially, like we're doing some learn to ride sessions. They're free throughout the Tweed Valley. Brilliant. The first one's on Friday this week, and the council have obviously supported financially, and it's, you know, let us get this amazing setup. Like we've got a gazebo and stuff like that. It's so exciting for us because, you know, just getting it delivered at a gazebo, it's got all our branding on and stuff like. We do get pretty excited over stuff like that, which is cool.
To run the session for free as well.
Yeah.
Because like mountain biking, well,
So
biking in
expensive.
general is like expensive. It's, you know, it's quite a, I don't know what the word is for.
Oh.
Not a niche sport. It's like
An expensive sport.
But yeah, so like to be able to make it free as well.
Yeah.
Thanks to the council, like obviously letting us have this grant. That's amazing.
That is huge.
Like
Some kids
we
that
might
wouldn't get
actually,
the chance
to teach a kid to ride a bike is like something so valuable as well.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's really special. Like
that's what I mean.
I mean, I remember getting pushed down a hill by my dad and being like, "Hold on for dear life," and like we're gonna get to do that in a slightly safer environment. But yeah, it's. I mean, I suppose that's just, we found that really rewarding, and like, you know, I mean the numbers that we put forward to the council in terms of like, we might potentially be able, if all the sessions are full, teach about 500 kids to ride bikes in the next 3 weekends, which is like insane. It's so
That's
good.
amazing.
I hope they're full.
But it's really good that you were able to get funding through, I think, a means that like maybe a lot of people might not think about.
Yeah,
like,
wouldn't normally think about it. And then since the council have obviously been quite sort of like, oh, you know, you're quite proactive in the community. And I think as well, since ever since coming off the pro team as well and moving to this area, like the community's been way more important to me. Because obviously there's loads of issues going on in the world and everything, and we're not getting into any of them, but actually like the biggest thing is, I think, your own community. Because if everyone looked after their own communities, like, we'd be in a much better place. So looking after the kids that are in our area, like, if that just inspires someone to do that in their area, then that's great. So,
you know, we live in an area that's really well known for mountain biking.
definitely.
And like giving them the opportunity to go out and have that thrill on a bike.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm so
definitely.
excited for your sessions.
Yeah, I'm excited too.
But you can come down and pretend you don't know how to ride a bike.
I mean, I haven't ridden in such a long time that I might actually need some lessons. Although you've reminded me of the first time I learned to ride a bike, and it was without the stabilisers, because back
They're the devil,
but they were
stabilisers.
awful.
No parent should put them on a bike.
No. But yeah, someone took them off and I was like kind of scooting it along, and then a friend of the family just gave me an almighty push. I didn't know how to stop. There was a bush involved. But I didn't want to stop because it was so much fun. You just like pedaling.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
That's going to be so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even just with the kids club, like, we were watching them get hooked on biking. Some of them, they're now definitely going to be bikers as they're older. You can just tell.
Awesome.
Cool. Yeah.
Fantastic. So you've had some support from local council for that part of your work. What other kind of support have you found out there, like in terms of information or advice, or are you pretty much like having to sort of blaze your own trail as you go through this process.
I think we're learning on the job, aren't we? But they're like, even the Women in Industry Summit from last year, that was like, even though I was a speaker there, like it was actually really eye-opening to me, and I found a few contacts there. Cool. And the thought of like going to like conferences and all this stuff, I was like, that's never going to be for me. But like, we've realised we are actually like running a business now. Like it's not just us biking anymore. So it is a business, and like learning, we're aware we need to learn, and like from the south of Scotland enterprise, I've seen online that they've got so many resources, but finding time to actually sign up to do like one of their courses and stuff is another story. But I'm aware that that's probably the route we're going to take more, because even like with the vlogging, you know Chloe does most of the editing, and you actually quite enjoy it, you quite like the task of doing it, and we've said like, oh, maybe we should put you through some training to make the quality of the videos better, and like we could get better at it. And it's stuff like that where you're like, oh, okay, courses, like education and stuff like that is probably going to be useful running a business. So not just winging it.
So networking, a bit of training, finding out what's on offer for you. And then with the, we've talked about the year ahead that you've got. In the immediate future, you've got some of the kids' courses running. What other kind of plans do you have for this year?
Well, you've got a big
plan. I've got a plan that's it's a bit too big, but I'm going to be taking on hopefully a full round of golf and hopefully completing it, which is
specify.
I'm not now turning into a golfer. The golf fee is our local mountain bike. It's actually called Cabeston Hill, I think, isn't it? But it's the golf fee. It's our most popular sort of enduro trails hill, and there's about 45 trails up there. Mark Scott actually pioneered the challenge itself, which is to ride every single trail in one ride.
Wow.
He did it last year or the year before, 2023 he did it, and he completed it, and he made it look quite difficult. We chatted to him a bit about it.
I'm going to try that.
No, but when I watched the video, like they did a little film out of it, and I was so inspired, like just by Mark's huge effort. And he is like probably, if you said like in the Tweed Valley, the fittest guy you know, Mark is the guy. Like everyone would say that, like
and
not
in this
just
area,
me.
That's
like he's literally like the fittest guy you know especially for doing a challenge like that. And I don't know why in my head, I think I had a thought of like, whoa, like no one could ever do, like it's only Mark that could complete that challenge. And then like immediately had another thought of like, I need to go and try it. and also just like seeing if it's possible. And like it'd be so cool because there's so many people that will have thought exactly what I thought, like that's never possible for anyone else, and especially a woman.
Right.
So I was like, well, we need to try.
Yeah.
Because I think it'd be just, if I complete it, which obviously I'm going to be doing all the training to complete it, I think it would be quite inspiring, even just inspiring for myself, but hopefully for some other people too.
Yeah.
So.
It's just knowing what you're capable of in terms of...
Yeah, I've never... Because that's the thing, I've always trained for racing, like the last 9 years has been racing, and we very much know, like, you're going to be riding roughly this long, and this is the kind of course, and, like, the kind of features and stuff, whereas, like, you wouldn't just go out for a ride that's going to take you 30 hours, or plus hours. Like, I don't know exactly, it's definitely... I don't think it's going to be under 30 hours, put it that way. So, like, you wouldn't do that for fun, so it'll be really interesting to see how far I can go. But it'd be kind of scary because then if I do complete it, I'm probably going to set a harder challenge.
Well, yeah, you have to. The only way is to escalate after that.
Yeah, so, but that for me, that is also to do something a bit different and not focus on the World Cups. While the World Cup's going through a little bit of a change, they've changed hands with the organisation. So I kind of feel like it's nice to step away from it whilst that's happening.
Yeah, give yourself a challenge outside of it.
Yeah, exactly. Still going to be doing some World Cups, and then you're...
Chloe's
so undecided. We can't get our calendar because of Chloe.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a bit on. Well, I still want to race. Because it's kind of all I've ever known really since being a kid, and I still want to be the best racer. So that's why I still want to race. But what races, I'm not really sure yet. So definitely enduro, some World Cups, and then like this year we both said like we should do more like varied events. So more adventure races because. At the end of last year, we went and did Trans-Sierra Norte in Mexico, which was insane. And after that trip, we were like, we need to do more of this. Like, this is why we started enduro, like exploring random places that you'd never normally take a bike. So we kind of want to bring a bit more of that back into our season. So we've got our eyes. Yeah, yeah. Like there's like some insane races that like when you look into like there's an Asian enduro series.
Ooh.
Which like there's like one in Nepal,
All in
Sri Lanka.
Bike tourism's, you know, a really big thing. So like if you see that there's riding other places, it would be. I saw someone riding in Costa Rica the other week, and I'm like, oh my god, I would love to do that.
Yeah. And just be able to document it as well.
Yeah.
Like bring back like obviously my first season of EWS was 2019, where we went to like New Zealand, Tasmania, Whistler, Madeira, like insane places.
Yeah.
And like and at the moment with where the EDR's at, it's like the same venues year in year out, and I guess it's just lost its excitement a little bit because it feels a bit more like downhill where you go to the same places you've ridden the tracks before. Whereas like, especially when you started, like your first season was like Chile, Colombia.
Wow.
Like places that you wouldn't like think to take a bike or race a bike.
Yeah.
So trying to bring more of that adventure feel is something we're keen to do.
Yeah, definitely.
And then I suppose that's the racing side of stuff, and then the I guess the Gowaan side of stuff.
The kids club, if we've got more time, we'd do it every day if we could, but trying to juggle, because obviously to do the racing you've got to put aside time to train.
Yeah.
My training hasn't started yet, but Chloe's been working really hard and don't know how she's juggling it all, quite frankly. But we today it's been an in-service day here in Scotland. We've just been out with 12 kids riding around Glentress, which is just so much fun because you ask them, are you glad you're not at school today on a Monday? And they're like, yeah, this is amazing. And we do, to be fair, we do try to, like, although the brand is all about having fun, being silly, like, we do always try to, like, teach them, like, life lessons and stuff along the way. Like, just things that, like, when we've grown up, like, I grew up on a farm, and there'll be certain things that, like, probably a little bit old school now, like, a lot of kids, I suppose, are wrapped in cotton wool a little bit, whereas we, like today, the kids were, like, messing in the trees and stuff, and I'm like, oh, should I be saying, like, get down or be careful? But then I'm like, actually, they're looking after themselves, you know what I mean? Like, they're realising, if I've let go of that, I'm going to fall on the floor, like, and I suppose having that approach maybe is just, it's how we grew up, and I think it's in our brand as well a little bit, and the kids seem to love it, so
they'll figure it out.
It's all about their resilience, isn't it? And getting out in nature and like sort of away from those like very rigid structures and like seeing what you can do.
I think as well, like, I don't really want to bring it up, but like nowadays a lot of kids are like on screens. Yeah. So as well to like get kids out on bikes and off of screens, like that's what we're quite passionate about.
I think as the club moves forward, that's like, that's a big drive for us, is that like we just don't want to see kids, because I mean even schooling's going quite on screens now anyway, and we just like really don't like it. Don't think it's very good for society or the next generation. But we could do a whole podcast on that one, so let's not get us started on that.
I feel it's another series.
But we're doing our best on bikes with them, and they seem to be enjoying it. And we're just, this year with the kids club, we've got Easter camps lined up, which I think are nearly full already, and summer camps will do. And then it's quite sporadic through the summer because of our schedules, and then we start again at the end of the season and do indoor sessions, which just been building like a load of new ramps and stuff for, and
cool. There's loads of stuff going on. So if people want to find out more about what you're doing, if they want to sort of learn about the kids club sessions, or they want to follow Gowaan Racing, like where do they go? What's the plan? Where do they follow you?
We really need to get our website a little bit more in shape. It's still it's on the list, on the long list, but mainly through Instagram really. And then if they're interested in the kids club, like they can just message us through Instagram, and it's pretty small club at the moment. So if they're local, like just drop us a message on Instagram, you'll get added to the WhatsApp or the emails, and we will get our website updated soon, which will be more about exactly what we do. But it's quite nice keeping it small anyway at the moment.
I guess the racing side of stuff,
Instagram and YouTube.
Or YouTube, and then any other events on our website, on Gowaan website. Yeah.
Fantastic. What advice would you give to someone who maybe has like a budding idea for an adventure or cycling business out there, and they're like, oh, I'm not sure about this, like, do I do it, do I not do it, what do I do, how do I start?
I think from like a business side of things, my advice would be like, well, it's got to come from like, you're not just, if it's, I think in this field, it's not like going to be, I'm wanting to make my millions. Like if it's a business side of thing and like entrepreneur wanting to make money, create a product or something to do with cycling maybe. I don't know. That's not our forte, like that side of stuff. But I'd say if you're passionate about something and it's just itching to do it, like I'd say start it really organically. Start small, even though like we've got huge plans in our head. Like the team was like a plan like 3 or 4 years ago, and then like we've just built slowly towards it. And then like there was certain big steps to take, like me actually not trying to get onto a professional team again and just being like, let's just stay open and see what happens. Like that's quite a big step to take at the time. But I'd say just like don't spend loads of money.
Yeah, because it could be tempting right at the beginning.
It could be tempting to be like, we need an office, we need this, we need that. Like just. Like start small, because otherwise it's just going to be like a ball and chain.
Yeah.
If it's a financial burden, and if you feel like you've got to make a certain amount of money, like we watch Dragon's Den all the time. And like the idea of being involved in a business.
The other night I said, would we ever take Gowaan on Dragon's Den? And then we were like, nah.
We're like, what? So we've got someone telling us we've got to make more money?
Yeah.
Nah, you're all right. It's not like that would be stressful. So yeah, I think if you're going into like adventure, mountain biking, cycling, it's got to be a passion project first, I reckon. Or an amazing idea of a product or something.
Yeah.
And you've got to think about yourself in a little way, like some ways, like we love the lifestyle. That's why we're addicted to running this business. Yeah. Because we love the lifestyle it gives us. So, and I'm completely unemployable. Like, so I have to run our own business.
And I think there's different motivations for businesses, right? Not everything is about making money. It's about lifestyle, or it's about... so lots of community interest companies are more about kind of, sharing a change you can make or empowering other people. So, it's not just about the cash, although the money is helpful. The money is helpful.
Takes the world.
Unfortunately.
Bex and Chloe, thank you so much for joining me for a chat today. I can't wait to find out how the kids' clubs go, and we'll be watching your adventures over the year ahead. Thank you also to South of Scotland Enterprise for supporting this podcast series, and we'll see you in the next episode.